As we approach the NBA draft, Joe the Fan here from Just Win Bets Baby. Shane O'Mac, of course, is with us as always. Shane, a lot of things that's happening in the NBA. We got to peel this like an onion. And we've got the ownership in Minnesota, which A-Rod is now the majority owner. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The Wizards trade Poole and Bay, to the Pelicans for McCollum. There's some draft picks. We're going to talk about that as well. That's got exchanged. And now the news that just broke, Porzingis is now in part of a 3-team trade. What say you?
Yeah, the news is breaking left and right, which happens a lot in the NBA, especially around the draft, right? So tomorrow is the draft. Maybe today when we post this video, probably. I think the Wizards. I think what I'm hearing from the sources I'm talking to and hearing on a bunch of my sites is that the Wizards want to get out of the Jordan Poole contract. He's owed a lot of money coming up, and they want to free up some cap space to try and go after some free agents either this year or next year. And so I think that's the main reason why they moved on from Poole. They also gave up a second-round pick to do that. So they're giving up pick number 40 of this year's draft to get rid of that contract. So that's the main reason. That's like the big takeaway is they're losing a draft pick to get rid of that contract pretty much.
Yeah, it looks like so. The Wizards pick up McCollum. That's going to be some veteran leadership there, as well as Olynyk. And a future second-round pick goes to the Washington Wizards for Poole, Bay, and as you mentioned, the 40th overall pick. But let's look into that a little bit deeper. You'll know that the Pelicans hold the 7th and the 23rd pick in the draft, and now the 40th. So they've got 3 picks in the top 40, where Washington also holds 2 first-round picks. They've got the 6th overall, which they're rumored about moving up in the draft. We'll talk about that in just a minute. But they hold the 6th overall pick and the 18th overall pick. So maybe they're trying to pull a little bit of the Mystics here, what they did earlier in the WNBA draft.
It might be. I mean, like in the Wizards GM, they got the GM that used to be part of the Thunders when they had the Thunder drafted Durant and Westbrook and Harden. It's that same GM crew that is the Wizards GM now. And they're known for trading up, right? They traded up for Bilal Coulibaly, like 2 years ago now. So like they're not afraid to trade up. I think they probably will. I think they're going to package some picks and try and move up if they can. Because outside, this, I hate to say a draft class is weak, but there's not a lot of star power in this draft class compared to most years. Right. Outside your top 2 or 3 picks.
Yeah, no question about that. And we'll dive into the draft a little bit later. But just to finish up the Wizards, we got McCollum that averaged last year about 21 points per game, about 4 rebounds, 3.8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game in the 56 appearances that he played for the Pelicans last year. Olynyk averaging about close to 11 points as well, with about 6 rebounds in 20 games when he played for New Orleans. Now, Bay's coming off is recovering from a torn ACL, so it's hard to determine who gets the benefit or who made out like a bandit in this trade.
I think the trade benefits both teams for what they want to do and what they're trying to accomplish. Right, Jordan Poole is he's a solid player. The knack on him is he doesn't play great team basketball sometimes. Like he tends to be a little bit of like where he just kind of wants to shoot the ball himself. Right, that's like the one knock on him. But he's a great player. He's good. The Wizards, I think he's just owed a lot of money. They took on his contract from Golden State when he was having some problems out in Golden State. And then and I think now they're just trying to rebuild and trying to clear some cap space so they can bring in a key free agent that they want.
All right, let's move on with what we talked about earlier, which involves 3 teams, the Atlanta Hawks, the Celtics, and the Nets, where the Celtics are planning to move Porzingis in a 3-team deal that saw that the center, Porzingis, of course, and a second-round pick to the Hawk, while Terrence Mann and Atlanta's 22nd pick headed to the Nets. Finally, we have, of course, Georges Niang and the second rounder landed to the Celtics. And that's, of course, according to ESPN sources right there. So the other news that came out earlier there, Shayna, before we even go deeper into this, here's another trade that happened. The veteran Drew Holiday, of course, going to the Trailblazers for Simmons and a second-round pick. So there's a lot of things that's going on in the NBA.
Celtics were NBA champions, last season. Not this season. This season, obviously, the Thunder, but last season, the Celtics were champions. Now they're trading away 2 key pieces from their championship team, which is shocking, right? Only a season later, which I mean, the news that Jason Tatum's going to be out for this season might have done something to that, where they're maybe like, hey, we might need to reload and get some draft picks and some different players, some different personnel in there, because they're not sure when he will be back, if at all, next season.
Well, in addition to that, there's new ownership with the Celtics. So do you think that plays a key role there?
I think it does, especially with Porzingis. I remember his contract was pretty big.
Yeah.
And I know new owners like to clear out some of that stuff so they can kind of start their own fresh slate, because they want to put their fingerprints on everything, you know?
Sure. Well, you're paying 2 guys that are $60 million a year. I mean, you're taking, of course, you've got the 2 main guys from the Celtics, you know, with Tatum and is it Brown, the other guy?
Yeah. So
$16 million is a lot.
That's a lot. And Jason Tatum, when he's healthy, is worth it. He's usually healthy. It's just that Achilles injury. That's just such a blow for them for this upcoming season. That sucks. I hope him a speedy recovery. But yeah, the Celtics are definitely trying to move and shake and stir things up, aren't they? So we'll see how it plays out. What I like about that trade, I think the Nets probably won the most out of that trade, is getting another first-round pick. That makes 5 first-round picks for them now in this year's draft. That's a lot. 5 first-round picks. You can draft a whole new squad.
No question about it. They're going the OKC route, it seems like. But yeah, I feel bad. You know, it is what it is. It's business as usual in the association. But Jason Tatum, as you know, towards his Achilles against the Knicks in the playoffs. So I don't see him coming back towards the beginning of the season, you know, right off the bat. I think it's going to take some time for some PT and stuff like that, rehab. So who knows? He'll probably come back after the All-Star break. You know, things that I'd be very surprised if he comes back in the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, he's not good. I don't think he's going to be back in the beginning of the season. Not with Achilles. That takes a minimum. I think the quickest people come back is like 9 to 10 months, and that's rushing it. Right? Most people want to take a whole year off. So we'll see though what happens. You know, modern medicine, you never know.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They can send him down to Tijuana to that stem cell research place that the UFC fighters go to.
That always works. All right, let's move now to the NBA draft, which is tomorrow night. It will be, of course, June 25th of 2025. So the NBA, of course, have been doing their NBA camps, their combine to prepare for this. But there's no shock here, Shano, where we have Cooper Flag, where according to DraftKings odds, it's minus 20,000. But if you go to BetMGM, it's minus 10,000 for Cooper Flag to go number 1 overall. I think we both can agree that that's not going to change.
No, he's definitely going first overall. And that's been known for years now, right? He's been projected to be the number 1 pick since he was like 16. So,
right.
So, yeah, he's definitely going first overall, I think.
Yeah, so the Dallas Mavericks is going to lock up that number 1 pick with Cooper Flag. Let's now move to the 2nd overall pick, which, of course, is the San Antonio Spurs. And if you caught our video earlier, you'll know that I predicted that the Greek Freak is going to go to San Antonio with, of course, Wemby, who apparently, Shano, you reported this earlier, that he's gained, 30 pounds?
Yeah, I saw a clip on X. It was him and Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart has a really funny show. If nobody's ever seen it, it's him sitting in like ice tubs with like other athletes, and it's really funny. It's just Kevin Hart's a funny guy, anyways. But it's really cool. And then like they really let their guard down around him, and he was saying like he looked like he bulked up a little bit. He's put on 30 pounds apparently of muscle, and he's working with a strength conditioning program and trying to bulk up a little bit more. And we've been talking about it. He needs to.
Yeah, no question about it. And
he said when he came into the league, he only weighed 215 pounds, and at 7'4". That is rail thin.
Yeah, that's Manute Bol thin.
Yeah,
you know. But no, I mean, a picture speaks 1,000 words there. Let's move to the 2nd overall pick. They're projecting Dylan Harper from Rutgers, going to the San Antonio Spurs. So that's a guard. That's your point guard right there, my friend. They need one.
Yeah, the Spurs currently have Chris Paul, but Chris Paul's getting old. right?
Sure.
And who's a better guy to learn from, right? Is like a perennial all-star player. You draft a guy, and Chris Paul can come in off the bench and teach him, like what he knows, right? I think that's a great pick for them if they stay there. They might, if they do trade for the Giannis, though, that might have to go, right? That might have to be part of the deal to get Giannis. You never know what the Milwaukee Bucks are looking for, but the rumors are that he might be moving. And if that's going to happen, I could see the Spurs having to give up that second round pick or the second overall pick.
As we reported earlier, the Wizards have been thinking about moving up from the 6th overall pick to the 2nd overall pick, and they need a point guard. Let's really be honest. Well, they need a lot of help, there in Washington. All right, so now let's move to the 3rd overall pick, which is held by the Philadelphia 76ers, and they're thinking of picking a guy from Baylor, VJ Edgecombe, a guard from Baylor. Currently at minus 275 DraftKings, both at BetMGM and DraftKings is what we have here. Could this be, do you think they go guard, or maybe they go a little bit of Trey Johnson here, Shano?
I think Edgecombe's got the biggest upside, so I think he's going to stay at 3. From all the mock drafts and everything I've been reading online, almost everybody thinks that those 3 are pretty much locked in step. Flag, Harper, Edgecombe. I think everybody thinks it's going to be those 3, and I think it's going to stay that way. And then after that, they say it's pretty much up in the air. No one really knows. But those 3, I think he's going to definitely go at 3 there. But Johnson is interesting. I mean, he's a good player too. What are your thoughts?
Well, it's currently on DraftKings plus 350, plus 400 at BetMGM, but I'm going to have to agree with you. It seems straight chalk, 1, 2, and 3 right there. Let's go to the 4th overall pick, which is held by the Charlotte Hornets. And they're thinking of taking the young man. He plays a little bit of the guard forward, small forward there, and from Duke. And he's at minus 145 at DraftKings. But, there's a lot of things that we've been reporting, as you and I know, regarding Ace Bailey. We'll talk a little bit about him a little bit later if the Charlotte Hornets decides to go there or maybe trade back. Bailey currently is at 320, plus 320.
Yeah, I really like Ace Bailey. I'm hoping he doesn't go at this spot because I want him to go to the Wizards, either him or Johnson, one of those two. I'm hoping that he falls to the Wizards, being a biased Wizards fan here. Knupel is that's a good pick. I mean, he's good. I mean, Duke's going to have 3 guys in the top 10 probably going in this draft, right? And he'll be the second one after Flag. But this is where it starts getting up in the air. Like we said, those first 3 picks are pretty much set in stone. What a lot of people think, and this is where teams can start to get a little frisky and see what happens to shake it up. So it's a little bit unknown. But Ace Bailey, or I think Johnson could come step up here too and be at the 4th pick as well.
This next pick, of course, is someone that I truly liked, especially when we saw him in March Madness. He was just doing everything there. From Texas, I'm referring to, of course, Trey Johnson, the guard, going to the Utah Jazz, currently at plus 190. But again, you have another gentleman by the name of Jeremiah Fears at plus 275. So as you stated before there, Shano, it's an opportunity where the Jazz could move back, maybe just pick somebody just out of the blue. Maybe if Knipple actually doesn't go to the Hornets, he can go right to the Jazz. That'd be great if he landed there. Knipple at plus 350. Ace Bailey would still be on the board at plus 300.
Yeah, I don't mind that the Fears bet there. What did you say it was? Plus 270? Plus 220?
Fears at plus 275.
Plus 275. Yeah, that's not a bad bet there. If I could bet on it, we can't in Virginia. I might throw a little pizza money on that because I think that's a pretty good bet there for Fears.
Yeah, we might have to call the governor for this one. There's a couple things that we don't like about the sports betting. Hey, it's great to have the books, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. We can't bet on college or Virginia local teams like UVA, Virginia Tech, George Mason, just to name a few of our local college basketball. And we're not just the only state. There's other states as well that have that, but we can't even bet on the draft, which is kind of dumb. Can't do it on the NFL, couldn't do it on the NBA. Um,
The one that bothers me the most is you can't bet on we can't bet on MVPs and stuff like that too. Like I
yeah,
wish we could. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. We need
absolutely.
go ahead and call up Youngkin, see if he can change that for us.
Yeah, I'll make a call. A call and collect. The six picks, of course, is held by our Wizards. AC Bailey is what they're projecting the forward out of Rutgers. So that's two within the top 10 there, Shano, from Rutgers. We mentioned about the guard, Dylan Harper, but for the Wizards, I call them the Bullets, they have him at plus 150. There's also Jeremiah Fears, who is another guard from Oklahoma. We're going to talk about that and him a little bit later. So, and he's listed at plus 210. Where does the Wizards go here? Do they move up to the second overall, which we've read and heard reports about that? Do they move back and try to, build that? You stated earlier that this wasn't really a strong draft. Do they move back on this?
I think they either stay put or they move up. I don't think they're going to trade back. The reason why is they need to start getting some sort of high end talent. Right. And then Ace Bailey is a really good player. Johnson's a really good player. I think they have to take one of those two if they're there. I don't think they're going to trade back out of that. I could see them trading up into the top 3. They have 2 first-round picks. They'd probably have to give up both of those, right?
Right.
So I could see that happening. But I think they're either going to move up or stay put. I don't think they're going to move back. I think they're sticking at 6 or moving up to 2 or 3. 2, I think, is going to be a little bit too pricey for them. I think they're going to try, but I don't think they're going to be able to. I think it's either going to be 6 or 3 is where they're going to be.
Now we have, of course, the young man that I mentioned earlier, Jeremiah Fears, guard from Oklahoma, going to the Pelicans. But this is something now with the trade. This changes a lot of things there, Shano. You got Zion, great player. You've got Poole, great player. Okay, and that's a 1-2 punch right there. Now you add somebody like Fears from Oklahoma. Look out.
Some people are saying the Wizards are going to take him too. I think I'd rather have Ace Bailey or Trey Johnson out of Texas. But hopefully they fall there at 6. But Fears is probably next on my list of outside of those 3 players there that is named. But he's still a good talent coming out of Oklahoma. He played really well in the tournament too this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Fears at you always want to get the best price if you're able to bet that, folks. Fears right now at plus 140 at DraftKings, but BetMGM has it at plus 200. So 2-1 for Fears going to the Pelicans. Let's move to the 8th pick, which is held by the Nets, and this is going to be the 3rd North Carolina team, which starts with a D. That's probably 8 miles down from the great University of Chapel Hill. I already mentioned it a couple times, so I won't say the D word again. And he's the center. Talk a little bit about this guy there, Shano.
Yeah, come on. I can never say his last name. Malicic.
Malicic, yes.
Come on. What's it called? I'll just call him Come on. Come on. He has all the tools, right? He's like 7'2", 7'3". He's got a really big wingspan. He plays defense pretty well. He was averaging a couple blocks a game for Duke. Decent rebounder. I think he needs to add a little bit more size for his body to be able to play in the NBA day in and day out. But yeah, I think he's a solid pick. And like you said, that's 3 Duke players that are going to go in the top 10. If he doesn't go here, he's definitely going in the top 10. He's not dropping out of the top 10. So, I mean, that's three freshmen from Duke going in the top 10, which I can't remember the last time that happened, but that's got to be, it's pretty rare feat there for one school.
Absolutely, absolutely. We move now to the last 2 picks, which is Toronto holds the 9th overall. And I say hold because you never know what happens in the NBA draft. Things can actually flip or they will release the players' rights or what have you. So according to, before we go into the draft, which is tomorrow, Wednesday, June 25th, 2025, we've got the Raptors at 9, and they're taking a gentleman from France. He's a forward. I'm going to try. Is it Noah Nsingu?
Nsingu.
I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Yeah, I don't know much about him at all. The international players are always like unknowns to me because I don't watch international basketball, so those ones are always like up in the air to me. But there's always a few that go in there, and then most of them are good. If I was the Raptors, I would be leaning more Derek Queen from Maryland. If I was them,
yeah,
that's who I would go with.
Yeah, Queen to the Raptors plays 5 plus 500 at DraftKings, plus 550 at BetMGM. But the gentleman from France is currently at 425, plus 425 for both DraftKings and BetMGM. But we'll move down to the last pick. If of course, is Derek Queen. Hey, he's done some amazing things throughout the season last year. Local guy from Maryland, center, kind of a big guy. You know, he pushes his weight around. You know what I'm saying? Currently at plus 370, and you can get him at plus 400 at BetMGM. Your thoughts on that?
I love Derek Queen. I think he's a really solid player. I think he probably needs another year or two of development in the NBA to be fully NBA ready. But he's got a solid frame. He's a clutch player. We saw that in the tournament, right? He hit that game winner buzzer beating shot for Maryland. I really like him a lot. I had him going to the Raptors to pick before, like I was just telling you. But we'll see where he falls. But Derek Queen, he's a hell of a player. Like I said, I could see him struggling out the gate in the NBA.
Sure.
I mean, he's still really young though, so we'll see. I could see him taking a year or two to develop. Not that that's bad. That used to be normal back in the day. Right?
No question about it.
It's come to the time in sports where people are like, you're a first round pick, you need to come in and play right away and be great, right? And people don't realize it takes sometimes some players like a year or two to get some sea legs under them, right?
Sure, absolutely. So there's another couple of guys. There's a gentleman from Russia, Igor, Demon, and of course a gentleman that I truly like from Arizona, the Wildcats, Carter Bryant. So that, of course, Carter Bryant is at plus 600 at DraftKings. Demon is, of course, at plus 550. So before we go, do you think they trade back or do they stick with Queen?
I think if Queen's there, they stay and take Queen. If not, I think they'll trade back. But I could see Queen creeping up into like the 8th or 9th spot, though.
Yeah.
But if he's there, I think they stay there and take him.
Sure. Carter Bryant, of course, the forward out of Arizona. You know, I think he's a good size there. But you know, it's hard once you get into that type of, you know, below 10 or bottom from 10 below. It just gets kind of, you never know. You just never know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this draft will be interesting. Like we said, like everybody's been saying, the top two are definitely set. Everybody's saying, and everybody's pretty sure top three. And then after that, everybody's like, man, it's a crapshoot. It could be literally anybody. So it's all depends on what teams, who interviews well, who had the better personal workouts, who the teams like more, and who fits better, who they think into their system, right? So it's going to be an interesting draft for sure.
So we're not going to we only covered the top 10, but just want to point something out there, Shano, is as we talked about the second overall pick going to the San Antonio Spurs, they also have the 14th pick overall, San Antonio. So things could happen. We talked about, of course, the Wizards having the 18th and, of course, the 6th. Do they move up? So fans, tell us what you think. Leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we talk about the NBA draft, which is taking place tomorrow. Tell us who you think 1 through 10 or maybe 1 through 5, who you think should go. Do the Wizards move up? Do other teams move up? Is there going to be a big surprise? And again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and that notification button, which tells you when we'll have a new video out. Until next time, we'll see you later.